Player ratings then, Everton 0, West Ham United 1. Everton suffering defeat again on New Year's Day. I think that's every New Year's Day for like the last 4 or 5 years we've lost. We don't like this game whatsoever, do we? It was a dreadful game, let's be perfectly honest. Lacked any real creativity. And I forgot to mention something in the instant match reaction that I'm going to mention now because I may as well. It is the play ratings, and we'll go into the play ratings in a moment. But I think we massively lacked Luca Dean's creativity today, to be perfectly honest with you. And I absolutely love Ben Godfrey, and I've been a massive fan of Ben Godfrey. I thought he done okay today as well, certainly on the ball, off the ball, got caught a couple of times, but I thought he done okay. But it's just so evident how badly we missed Luca Dean's creativity down that left-hand side. There's just nothing creative-wise in this squad. And James come on, and we've seen a little bit. Richarlison isn't in good form whatsoever. Bernard offers nothing. And Ben Godfrey, whilst he's very good defensively, and I think he deserves a spot in this team in some position or another, be it centre-half, I just think we massively missed Luca Dean's creativity today, and we have done for a few weeks now, getting down that left-hand side, throwing balls into the box, providing for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's missed Luca Dean massively, and he missed him again today. Anyway, let's get into the player ratings, because that's why we are here. Just thought I'd mention that, because I forgot to mention it in the instant match reaction. Jordan Pickford, I've actually given him a 7, to be honest, and he didn't really have anything to do, did he, today, Jordan Pickford? Don't think he's really at fault for the goal, to be honest. It takes a nasty deflection. You could say that, you know, you freeze the pitch and he's probably a little bit too further forward or whatever, but he does make a decent save initially from Souček. Parries it out, the ball comes back in, it takes a nasty deflection off, I think it's Ben Godfrey, and Souček's just there to tap it in. In fact, it pretty much just hits him and goes in. It's a decent finish, to be fair, but I don't think you can really blame Jordan Pickford for that. And other than that, he didn't really have much to do. He made a couple of catches, but, coming out and grabbing the ball, and a couple of easy saves. They might have had, 3 shots on target or something prior to the goal. And he was pretty average today. He was pretty average, so he's getting a 7. Ben Godfrey, I've given him a 6.5. Again, done okay on the ball, but positional-wise, did get caught a couple of times. Obviously, was caught for their goal, not only with deflection coming off him, but also the shot from Souček. He just allowed that to happen, and that obviously consequently led to the goal, which was deflected off him as well. Like I said, I really like Ben Godfrey, and again, he always shows a lot of heart, and he always gets forward, and he's always trying his best, and he makes a couple of really good challenges, and on the ball he's a very confident player, but sometimes I just think positional wise he just loses it a little bit, and he allows too much space down that right hand side for oppositions, and I think that was the same today. Yerry Mina, giving Yerry Mina a 7 as well. There were a couple of little silly moments where he's throwing himself on the floor and he's trying to win fouls, which you're never going to get when Kevin Friend's refereeing your games of football. But I thought defensively, defensively as a whole, I didn't think we were that bad today. It was just so flat. The midfield was so flat going forward. We had no creativity. But defensively, there's not many issues I've got with the team. Obviously, we conceded in the last minute, which is really poor, and they got through on a couple of occasions. Declan Rice played a good ball through the middle, which, again, if Sebastian Haller had been a little bit more switched on, he'd have had a tap in. But I think that was more to do with Bernard on the free kick, just completely being asleep. And like I said, I thought defensively we weren't too bad today. They didn't bring an awful lot of threat going forward, but we managed to deal with it. So I've given Yerry Mina a 7. Again, he was okay today. He done really what he needed to do. Passing, he was okay passing wise. Like I said, he tried to win a couple of silly fouls in silly areas, and he did get caught on a couple of occasions, but never really amounted to anything. So I've given him a 7. Mason Holgate, I've given him a 6.5. Again, I think he struggled at times passing the ball out. He played a couple of really poor passes, give the ball away, give possession away on a couple of occasions as well. It's a strange one with Mason Holgate, because obviously he's a natural centre-half, and you naturally want to see him playing in that position, because that's where he's trying to develop as a defender and as a footballer. But he looks more comfortable on the right-hand side for me. He just looks so much more comfortable on the right-hand side at right back, with Mina and Keane at centre-half. And again, I don't know why Michael Keane wasn't involved today. Maybe it was because he was maybe carried a little bit of a knock, or he just wanted to give him a rest. But I just think Mason looks far more comfortable on the right-hand side, and again, done all right defensively, got rid of a couple of balls, but as passing-wise, it wasn't great. Seamus Coleman really kills me this. I'm giving him a 6. I don't think he had an awful game in terms of on the ball and his passing, and defensively he wasn't awful, but he's just too slow. he just slows the game. And I love Seamus Coleman. For me, he's an Everton legend. I absolutely love him so much, but we need to replace him. I cannot stress how important it is to bring in a right back in either the summer or January this month, because he just slows the game down massively. Every time that ball goes over to him, the old Seamus Coleman would belt it down the wing and he'd try and get involved. And he'd done that on 1 or 2 occasions. He had a shot on goal, obviously, and there was another one where he tried his luck running at defenders. But more often than not, when he picks the ball up, he just stops it dead and he's looking sideways, or he's looking backwards, or he's moving backwards. And it's just killing our attack constantly. And again, when you've got that on the right-hand side and Seamus doing that, and then you've got a centre-half playing out of position on the left-hand side, he doesn't really get forward, you're not going to have any creativity from the wings, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to have a game like he did today where he's not got anything to do, really. And unfortunately, like I said, although Seamus done okay on the ball, defending he was okay, I just think he's far too slow and he slows games down. And you might come at me for that and you might disagree with me, and that's fair enough. And I'm not saying that Mason Holgate gets forward on a number of occasions and throws balls into the box, and that's why I think we've got an issue there, and that's why I think we need a new right back in the next couple of transfer windows. So there you go, Seamus have given him a 6. Abdoulaye Doucouré have given him a 7.5. Thought he was the best player on the pitch in an Everton shirt today, getting about the pitch, winning balls back, using his body, using his energy. Really took hold of that midfield in the first half as well, took it by the scruff of the neck, and started to try and dictate. But it was very difficult to do that when, you know, the players around him, certainly the attacking players around him, were just may as well have been sat at home with me watching the game on my couch. But like I said, I thought he was quite demanding. He was picking the ball up, he was moving it out, he played quite well. So I've given him a 7.5. Gylfi Sigurdsson a 4 today. Really poor from Gylfi Sigurdsson. Really poor. Nothing going forward, no creativity. And you might say it was similar to the game against Sheffield United last week, only that Gylfi popped up with the winning goal in that game. So, you know, not all is forgotten, but you sort of just think, you know what, we'll forgive you for that because you've won us the game. Whereas today, didn't pop up with that moment of magic, and it looked like a Gylfi Sigurdsson performance from 4 or 5 weeks ago, where he doesn't really want the ball and he doesn't really want to get stuck in, and you know, he's too slow to everything, and he's not offering anything going forward, and we know he doesn't offer anything really defensively. So effectively he's just there, and we can't afford to be carrying players in that fashion, certainly against sides who are very organised and very well structured like West Ham are. So I've given him a 4. Tom Davies, I've given him a 5 today. Again, started the game well, was bringing the ball forward, made a couple of good passes, done well with his body, but then as the game went on, he was just being bypassed more and more, throwing silly challenges in, trying to get him, trying to win the ball back in stupid ways, knowing full well you were going to give a foul away. And his passing started to decrease a little bit, giving it away stupidly, not really being in the game in the second half as well. And, you know, unfortunately for Tom, it was another game today where people are probably going to jump on it. I don't think we should really jump on it because everybody else was dreadful as well. But he wasn't great today, so I'm going to give him a 5. Bernard, 3. Honestly, again, in the same vein as Gylfi Sigurdsson, I don't just want to sit here and go in on Bernard and sit here and have a go at these players week in, week out, but I don't understand how Bernard can't add consistency to his game. Bernard come on against Sheffield United on last Saturday, and was absolutely amazing. He was brilliant. He changed the game for us. Man of the match, even though he was only on for 30-odd minutes, man of the match, completely changed the game, ran at players, used his energy, used his pace, used his his footballing ability to get himself into those tight-knit areas. Today he starts, big opportunity for him. Alex Iwobi not in the squad through injury. Bernard starts and he offers nothing. Okay, he had a shot just before half-time at the goalkeeper, which is coincidentally I think our only shot on target, but let's be honest, it was never going to trouble him, was it? It was an easy save. And the rest of the game, every time he had the ball, he was either coming backwards or he was trying to play it sideways. He never ran at players, and that's what we massively missed today. And that goes into my point at the start of the video about missing Luca Dean, is we miss players that run at the opposition. Alex Iwobi was a massive miss today. I remember tweeting it out, and a couple of people were saying, well, he hasn't assisted or scored, and he runs, but doesn't really create. But that's what we need. That's what we needed today. We needed somebody that was just going to run at their players and force them into mistakes. And Alex Iwobi might not have the best final ball in the world, but if he's running at players and he's putting pressure on them and he's forcing them to make mistakes, then everybody else around him feeds off that. And then everybody else's quality can go on and win us the game of football. We had nobody running at players today. That was what Bernard should have been doing. If Bernard isn't going to run at players, then there's 0 point in him being there. Because technically, yes, he's a decent footballer, but if he can't run and get into the right areas, then there's no point. There is no point, and unfortunately today it was very much of that. Calvert-Lewin then, giving him a 6, ran round, worked hard, no creativity. You can't really blame him for the fact that we had no creativity. Again, lacked Luka Dean throwing balls into the box, lacked James Rodriguez from the off, lacked probably Alex Iwobi just running at players and lashing it into the box, to be honest with you. But again, worked very hard. Quite frustrated to see him coming into the midfield to try and pick the ball up. Again, said it in the instant match reaction. Dom isn't a striker who's going to pick the ball up from midfield, turn round, beat 6 or 7 men and score. He's not that player. So when he's moving into the midfield, I understand it because he's frustrated and all he wants to do is pick it up and, try and make something happen. But when he's doing that, effectively all he's doing is picking it up and giving it. And then he's not then in his natural striker position that we need him in. He was at right back at one point today because he was trying to get the ball back to try and make something happen. So I've given him a 6 for the effort and the willingness to do that. But unfortunately, again, he didn't have anything in the game really to go off. And again, it was a very, very quiet night for him. And Richarlison, I've given him a 4. Don't really know what's going on with Richie, to be perfectly honest with you, at the moment. He seems a little bit void of confidence. He seems a little bit stuck in what to do. Every time he's trying to beat a man, he's getting caught. He's losing possession. He's just not really on his game at the moment. And I feel a bit sorry for the lad because we have relied on Richarlison massively over the last 2 years he's been here. And I don't think anybody should turn their back on him. I've seen some people shouting, oh, sell him, he's not good enough, this, that, the other. Bollocks, absolute bollocks. The lad is shit hot when he's on fire. He's absolutely brilliant. But he's just in a bad run of form at the moment. And he does need to come out of that. And, ultimately we need to find out the reasons as to why he's in bad form. And that needs to be resolved. But again, he didn't cover himself in a lot of glory today, to be honest with you. I've given him a 4. Off the bench then, bearing in mind these substitutes didn't have any real effect on the game whatsoever. Andre Gomez, I've given him a 7. I thought he was okay when he come on. Couple of nice little bits of play, couple of nice passes, couple of bits of trickery. Actually was getting forward, looked like he wanted to change the game a little bit for us. Did he change it? No. Did he create anything clear cut? No. Did he score a worldie? No. But he looked much better than he has done in recent weeks. And for me, ultimately, that's an improvement for Andre Gomez. It's an improvement, and I thought he'd done okay today. James Rodriguez, obviously brilliant to see him off the bench. Again, I've given him a 7. When James and Gomez come on, to be fair, they both looked like Everton sort of looked like they'd stepped it up a little bit. Wasn't massive. It was like going from a 0.5 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10. But they were putting some creativity into the team, and James was doing that. The balls into the box were good. It just so happened that Bono was very good in defence for West Ham. And again, probably quite frustrating for James, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe we had this big expectation that he'd come on and score a worldie and win the game for us, but it wasn't to be. And maybe that score's a little bit too high for him, but I just thought he added a little bit more than we had at the time. Same with Andre Gomez. And Shane Thompson, last substitute, I don't know. I honestly don't see why he's still coming on, to be perfectly honest. He's getting a 5. Because did he touch the ball? I don't think so. He did touch the ball, actually. The ball got slid into him and he took it wide instead of having a shot. It was quite a tough, a tough position for him. But again, showing the weakness of our squad and ultimately the lack of quality that we have coming off the bench. But there you go. They are my player ratings. Not good enough again today. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. Look, it's New Year's Day. We're shit every New Year's Day. So, what can you do, really? We have to bounce back against Rotherham in the Cup, and then a couple of big games in the Premier League coming up as well. Wolves, Leicester within the next couple of weeks or so. And yeah, there you go. They're the player ratings. Let me know your thoughts on them in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed, leave the video a like. Another poor result, but you know what? We won 4 on the bounce, so it's one of them, isn't it? It was poor today. It really was poor, and we had no creativity. And what Carlo Ancelotti now needs to do for me is find that balance between the creativity that we had at the start of the season, where we were scoring 2-3 goals on average every game, if not more, and the defensive ability that we seem to have now, and the defensive structure that we seem to have now. Because it was like at the start of the season, yeah, we were scoring for fun, but we were conceding silly goals. Now we're not conceding silly goals, but we can't score to save our lives. Certainly couldn't today, or create anything to suggest that we're going to score. But anyway, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.